Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you had a great short week. As markets go and as markets seem to keep going, a lot was packed into this week. So please come back Monday for that Monday market update. Speaking of that, as you can see, we're using a new method to get these emails to you. Please let me know if there are any problems. We think this should make things easier for you to access the resources we have available to you and even share them with others. We also are bringing back an old favorite, the LPL Weekly Market Commentary. This subscription disappeared over a year ago, and even though it has been on our website since we launched the site, this will bring it to your mailbox again. This is a popular resource, so if you're interested, please let me know and watch for ways to get signed up for that. All right, let's move to the Friday work I do for you here. Today is May 31st, 2024, and this, of course, is your Friday planning video. Now, quite obviously, tomorrow is June 1st, and that means we have exactly 1 month before the end of the second quarter, and in turn, the first half of the year is gone. Where is the time going? The big question is, where are you and your goals for the year, for your quarter? Two quotes I want to share with you, then we'll talk about some action items. First, Lord Kelvin, 19th century scientist, famous for that Kelvin temperature scale. If you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. And this is why we always want to keep tabs on where we are. Fits right into our process. Evaluate, prepare the plan, execute the plan, review, and adjust as necessary. All right. And then one that I think is even more important, and it is one that we stay focused on your goal. Don't measure your progress using someone else's ruler. All right, so our evaluation process continues. Let's stay in touch and keep our goals in focus. Now, what I want to talk about is a few action items that we are talking about in our meetings, and they're really so important. So let's get the disclaimer out of the way. By now, you know that I do not give personal tax advice, but along with your tax and legal team, we will work together to provide you with a financial planning strategy that brings in proper estate planning as well as tax planning. I highly suggest you pull this team together. I want to discuss one item for my Social Security age watchers. It will matter to everyone eventually, but these action items are for you. But if this is not your focus, I will also touch on some other tips after that, so stick around. I'll end with a summertime request, so let's move on to talking about Social Security. Social Security, this is another one that I am not an expert on, but I do have some great resources to tap into and work with you to get answers to the main questions. And here are a few of those main questions that I want to go through. If you're getting close to 62 or even full retirement age, for many of you 66 and a half, that full retirement age, the way to get 100% of your benefits you've earned, that's determined by what year you were born in. And even those that are between full retirement and age 70, this is for you as well. Let's talk about one of the big choices. And I want to be clear, this is something that is a complex calculation based on many personal factors and opinions. There are not a lot of hard facts that determine right and wrong here. Going back to algebra class, there's an X that cannot be solved for at this time, and that is what age you're going to die. So making assumptions have to be made. So the first option that comes up is taking that Social Security as soon as possible. The other option is going to wait until age 70, and of course, there's everything in between. The ideas to discuss, or should I say the arguments for taking it at age 62, is that if you take that money, you can invest it yourself and exceed the government increases, the government returns. Please note, this can be calculated, but again, solving for X, in this case, the return that you're going to get on your investments. You can solve for what the government minimum increase is, and you'll not be able to solve for the adjustment for cost of living increases. Those are unknowns. Don't forget to figure in inflation and taxes in your calculations. Now, another reason some people will consider to take the money now option is that if you don't take it, you may have to withdraw more money from your other assets. And whatever's left of those assets when you die goes to your heirs. Social Security, in most cases, does not. So if you take the Social Security instead of doing the withdrawals, in a perfect world, on paper at least, you will have more to pass on to your heirs. Again, a lot of factors here, but this is one that many do not think about. I'll wrap this up with one that is truly unknown, and that's the break-even date. This is just simply if you defer and take the higher number later, but it works better the longer you live. So this is one that you can only make assumptions on. Simply put, there are choices, pretty clear choices, but the proper choice is all but defined. It, like I always say, is personal. That's why we call it personal financial planning. So let's talk about that. If you're in that position, let's talk about that and how to do with that. Let's hit on another set of actions and then the request. Actions, direct from Warren Buffett in what he calls frugal living tips. A lot to discuss in these, and not sure if they all fit for you, but just to list a few. First, live below your means. This is also one that can be read about in the book, The Millionaire Next Door, a definite recommendation. Next, avoid debt, especially as rates have gone back to normal levels. This is something to focus on. Also, but Buy quality, not quantity. And this is simply buying goods that are going to last longer rather than ones that will need to be replaced all the time because they're lower quality. And finally, for today, track your expenses. This is one that I speak a lot about. If you need some tips on this, please let me know. Knowing where your money goes allows you to direct it where you need it to go and where you want it to go. Okay, now the request. I've done this in years past with little success, but try I will. Summer's here, and there will be some downtime for many of you. Speaking of Warren Buffett, he is said to read 5 or 6 hours a day. Different sources, but he does read. Bill Gates reads one book a week. Mark Zuckerberg, one book every 2 weeks. They all publish their summer reading recommendations. I want to hear yours. I'll share mine with you in a couple of weeks. Please share yours with me. You can email them to me at any time. All right, that's a wrap for today. More to come on Monday for the Monday Market Update, next Friday for another planning video, and maybe some specials in there too over the summer. For now, stay in touch and have a great weekend.